Hi, mindful partners, and welcome to another episode of Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast. Of course, you know that Mindfully with Tumishe took a break last week because we all needed to take a break from a fight for life. And if you followed us, especially Ola and I, since June, you knew how that started. And yeah, we're back to give thanks to the one who sent us, and also to give a review, what our takeaways, and to give you some news. I have with me here today the two souls that God gifted Mindful Tumishe, the podcast, to birth a fight for life. It's a series of mindful events that henceforth Mindful with Tumishe will be hosting. So, did I let the cat out of the bag too early? Okay. Mofe, hi. Hello, Mofe.
Hello.
You're like Ola too? Okay. Hello, Ola.
Hello, good morning.
Okay. Mofe was your ginger. Mofe was your ginger.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. Hi, guys. I don't even know how to start this conversation. But let me tell you guys how Mofe and I met. Through my big sister, who you know, Derely. And Derely said, that she has, or this lady who has this campaign. What was a voice of what?
Voice of Wellness.
Voice of Wellness campaign. And as you might have, gotten used to on Mindful with Tumishe, would thrive on connection here. And somehow, somewhere, it just clicked. So, we were already in the middle of planning a fight for life. This was in September when Mofe and I met. And we were planning to, Ola and I were planning to design and create a mindful journal. And that was just, I was like, the work of doing this and then production and all of that. And then God brought into my life Mofe. I didn't know she was trying to produce or publish a mindful journal until I think towards the end of September. One morning you call and you say, I want to run something by you. And I allow her finish. And I say, we are the ones who will be the ones buying that for the show. So, Mofe is the CEO Lamakwe by are you a CEO of Murphy's Couch?
I'm just the founder. She found founder.
You share something. So Mofe, because it's your first time on Mindfully with Tumishe, before we do the rituals, please introduce yourself, because there's a ritual, but introduce yourself first.
All right. Okay. All right. My name is Eyimofe Onifade. Yeah. Okay. Is it good?
Yeah.
All right. Eyimofe Onifade, mental health educator, mental health advocate, HR 9 to 5. Yeah. And so many other things. Yeah. So many other things.
Yeah, we'll get you back. So this one is about, of course, we were supposed to have a conversation on Mindful with Tumishe anyways, but let's Ola, who are you?
No, you can't. No, that's not gonna happen. This is Ola, and I'm here again. That's it. IYK.
Something like that. Form small. All right. A fight for life. How? I know the things that I took away, but let me start with you, Mofe. What did you think was the highlight of a fight for life?
I think for me, it's the fact that while we were planning, one of the things you said, you're like, even if it's just 5, was it 5 or 10 you said?
No, I actually said 5.
You said 5.
Yeah.
You said if it's just 5 people that shows up, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, but when I drove in, that day and I saw the energy, I saw everyone, I was excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really excited. Yes.
I was afraid.
I was really excited. So, and looking at the energy that came with it, and looking at the fact that men would naturally not take this sort of meetings seriously. Yeah, because I know from the conversations I had with some people, I think after the event, when I posted the some of the short videos, a lot of people reached out to me and said, "Hey, Mofe, how can you not tell us this?" I said,
But you
I was posting.
But you carried this thing like gala. Yeah.
Somebody said, Eyimofe, you should have dragged me. I said, hello. So like I told you, there's so many people that I know they're waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Talk now.
Oh, okay. Right. For me, it was every part of it was is a reminder of what can be, when we set our minds to do things, right? But the most memorable for me was when we chased the women out. And we had a conversation. Honestly, so I said to Tunisha afterwards, next year we would make sure that we'll probably allocate more time to that, because that should actually, because it's the core of the program. And when people began, I'd first shared, because I know that men would not say anything if they don't see that somebody is trying to be vulnerable. I'd shared, and then the next question came, and then that question took us to some place we didn't know, and then we came back, and on some other conversation. It was just a reminder for me that truly the work needs to be done. I got a few people that I invited say, "Oh, thank you for." In fact, one of the persons I say, "Wow, I didn't know. I'll have dragged my friend. I'll have dragged my brother and his friend." For me, and this is somebody who doesn't do those kind of things. He's not that kind. In fact, when he said he was going to come, in my mind, like, okay, really? So when he sent me a text the day before, I didn't even read the text, but I said, "Don't even tell me that she not coming." So he said, no, I'm just going to ask where my ticket is and stuff like that. It's not like I said, okay, that's much better, And for me, it's very instructive. It's very instructive because if we want to build the kind of society that we want, we can't build it outside of or excluding the man. And when I say excluding, I'm talking about the well-being, taking into consideration the well-being of the man. So for me, I don't, every part, plus the food, so plus the food, I can't. It was just a wonderful time out. It was just a wonderful.
For me, it was the fact that we emphasized play. We highlighted play, and I think that was the icebreaker. Right. Seeing men trying to put together puzzles. And I must say a huge thank you to Elophotos. Oh, did I say Elophotos? She'll kiss on me. Yeah. Rexona Art and Craft is, I've told him before that is from prison to photography to now Agbegilodo. He was the one, and he did that in a day. He said usually it would take him 7 days, but he did the jigsaw puzzles in a day. So the jigsaw puzzles were not even part of, but the fact that we started with that, and it spoke to the competitiveness in men and allowed that fun to. Did you know there was a 57-year-old man there? There was a 52-year-old, and there was a 55-year-old man there, and I think a 60-year-old. So when we started, the fact that we started just about 20 minutes after. We were supposed to have started at 10.
Right.
The fact that we started at just 20 minutes late, that alone. And of course, there was an initial fear, maybe not fear, concern. The speakers came late, and we were beginning like, okay, so what's going to be plan B? Maybe God just wanted us to emphasize play and all that. And when when we were about to start the guided meditation, Dr. Gbenga Coker came in, and then they came in right after each other. And I believe that was how God, and I'm so grateful. I said this to him, and I hope he listens to this. I didn't even know that he listened to the podcast until when he was talking during it. And then he said, like to me, she said, I'm like, huh? He listened to the podcast. And that he waited to the end. I can just imagine what it brought during that 45 minutes, 1 hour end. How was that? I'm not saying you should tell us what you people said, but him being there, a clinical psychologist and psychiatrist being there with you guys, how was it?
It helped because when you have like someone who is seen as an authority, not like an authority, just speaking to whatever it is. There was we had one person ask question of when do you draw the line between what the child feels about discipline and what you feel about
discipline? Yeah. I would have loved to hear that answer.
If you were not there,
I know. But I'm just saying.
So the response I hear was, so I wanted him, because I like for people to reflect and answer their questions by themselves. So I said to him, if you were the child, how or when would you feel that this discipline is too much? And I saw the reluctance to take on
that responsibility. Yeah.
So I knew something was there, but I kept pushing it. It kept going somewhere else, and I tried bringing it back, into that place. Every day I said to him, see, the truth is, if you define what discipline, if you don't know what discipline is really, then it's going to be hard for anyone to help you to know what it is. So when the doctor stood up and said, you know what, discipline simply means discipling, right? Guiding a child in, okay, but that's it. If you can't define how you want to raise your child, which exactly that's from the word disciple, to disciple. If you can't decide how you want to raise your child and how, and I think that at the back of his mind, when people hear discipline, all they see is rod, and this not rod, because rod is not really caning. They see the belt, they see the flogging, right? They don't see that you can raise a child without that. I have seen it, and I keep seeing it everywhere. My friend Abayami,
yeah,
I saw both his children being born. The first day I saw them on the first day, and I saw them grow, and I know that they did not raise their hand. One is about 12, one is about 8. And they left Nigeria and moved and I did not see them raise their hands at the children. The wife is now a family engineering expert. So she was really, really, and before she even went into that area, she was really very intentional about raising kings. So she would refer to her children as princes, and they would talk to them. Of course, they would punish them, go and stand and face the corner. And you would think that those things, but the children hated it. They hated it, and it worked. So when people now talk about rod, I've gone to check, and I realized that the rod actually doesn't mean to cane a child. That's not what it means. It means the rod was used actually to ward off the enemy.
So let me comment on this one thing, because of course when it comes to parenting, I could go on and on. But here's the thing. The simplest way when people come to me, are you saying that you shouldn't beat your child? I've beat my children before, but I've not done that in over, one is going to be 17 on Sunday. So I can't even remember, maybe over 15 years, I've beat them twice.
Right.
You know, and I knew why I put them. I've told the story over and over on this podcast. But here's the thing. When we go back to Psalm 23, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Isn't that what it says? Right? And of course, we need to put these things into consideration when people go like into context, because like rod and all that. Especially the Yoruba transportation, passion lo ma se kini kan is passion that were, you know, that was you know, and I'm speaking as a linguist again. But the rod is used to guide the sheep. The rod is used. You won't see a shepherd use his rod to hit on the sheep, and these are animals. He would though use that. He would use that rod to tap the ground until the sheep knows where the shepherd is. So, we could play with this metaphor all through this conversation, but what was the energy you got from sharing Mindful Moments journal at the Fight for Life?
Okay, so the energy I got was good, interestingly. Yeah, I was not expecting I was not expecting a very high energy, to be honest. Yeah, because I know the fact that I'm speaking to men. And the fact
was that in your head or what you were
it was
saying?
in my head, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in my head.
Okay.
Right? It was in my head. The fact that, you know, I'm speaking to men, and the fact that it's a men event, and we've said exclusively, you know.
So you're
But when I was speaking, I saw that they were really paying attention, and that's sort of really got me off that thought, right? And then the man that called afterwards, to also order more. You know, the feedback he gave was amazing. You know, it was interesting to see man, you know, other journal. Right? Yeah.
Honestly, it's good to have your head.
Yeah. No.
See his face.
Yeah. And I was saying, well, hold on. Yeah. Because, So when I was putting the journal together, right, I actually had to go and find out, you know, how many men actually journal.
Oh, you did that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I was really interested. Right? And because I was getting myself ready for all the critique, and also let's not forget that we're trying to raise awareness on journaling, right? So when people started asking questions, or when we're having conversations, and, you know, people are bringing their mindset and their idea, you know, that may not be true, right? It's just a function of, you know, the assumption, just like my assumption. You know what I was going to...
The stories we tell ourselves.
Exactly. You know, so, I mean, I was ready. I was ready. Yeah, so the feedback from him was amazing. I could see he was excited. I could see he was looking forward to it. And for me, it was a good feedback, that I picked out of that. Yes, and the fact that I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll come and pick it up by myself, right? You know, and he was like, okay, you know, so the energy, the interest, and all. Then also, interestingly, even from people who have gotten the journal before now, the excitement from the men is amazing. Honestly, it's shocking.
You can say it.
So there's a particular you know, man, right, that came, and then I showed him the journal, and he said, okay, I'm gonna get one. You don't need to say too much. I love this. I like this. A lot of people need to have access to this. So he took it home, and he said the moment he got home, right, you know, the wife saw the journal, and she didn't even allow him to say too much. She just said, okay, I've taken this one.
I know, right?
So he came back and said, Eyimofe, they've taken my journal. I said, congratulations. They said, I need one. I said, no, don't buy one, buy two this time.
All right, so
And interestingly, sorry to cut you.
sorry.
And interestingly, thank God he actually got through, because the moment he stepped out of my office, it got a female visitor, right? In the office, and of course,
All right. So do you think that so because I'm still looking with all the reels are not completely yet, but I am utterly glad that I didn't choose to do the guided meditation live. I'm utterly glad that I recorded the guided meditation, because I think my presence and voice might have been a distraction.
100%.
Well, what do you think? Because I think the guided meditation, and because it was a writing guided meditation, I'd opened up somewhat. He has gone into that place again. Are you back? Are you coming?
Yeah. Well, I actually think that meditation, guided meditation, with the person being present, especially when the person is new to the audience, is always always a distraction. If they're not it's not a familiar process already, right? It would, because even the meditation, people are still distracted, right? They are distracted by everything. You're not used to meditation. Distracted by the voice. You're distracted. You're trying to hear what the person is saying, because that's some form of distraction. So I think it was. I told you already. I like the music. The music was.
Oh, shout out to my brother.
Yeah, I like the music, and it was really very. It was very soothing. Yeah.
So the music. You speak. The music. Let me tell you. I have two versions of that, because he just woke me up one morning. Like, that music is about. The one that was used at about 9 minutes. There's another one that is 12 minutes, and he said he was whatever it is I was doing in his head. I don't know, but he woke up and then he just said, "I think I have found your sound," and I will not even lie. When I listened to this, the second one, there's a part where the cello, the violin, the trumpet crescendos. I'm sorry if you don't know music language. I'm so sorry. Crescendos, and I literally cried. I'm like, whoa! Whatever he was singing when he was creating that music for me. Yeah, Mofe, you're going to say something. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think that was one of the moments that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved the meditation, your voice, the music. Then also, I love the fact that it was interesting watching the men actually,
Trying.
Yes, experience it.
Yes.
I saw them really feeling it, which was a good thing for me, right? It was a good thing for me because, I believe there were people that was probably the first time they were ever experiencing that.
Guided meditation.
Yes.
Some were crying.
Yeah.
That humbled me.
Yeah.
The moment I saw a tear drop from a guy's eyes, I stepped out. Because I felt I was invading some sacred space. And that's why I said I'm grateful that I wasn't doing it live. And even though, especially when we did the first one, people were like, okay, what's going on? But by the second guided meditation, I was so immersed. Oh, it was so, the guided meditation was so
beautiful.
Oh, it was so
beautiful.
So, I'm going to tell you, you do not know, so I'm going to tell you now. So, I have about 200 of them that I have not recorded. So, we're going to put it up on Black Images YouTube this next year. So, yeah. I'm not selling it, just go. But when that is a lot of work, but we could do them.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the reasons why it caught the men was because we try as a man, you try to distract yourself from your everyday problem by just doing something. So it's either you're having conversations by force, conversation I don't even want to have. You're pressing your phone. You just one way or the other distract yourself. So when they had to put down their phones and bring themselves to themselves, and then in those moments, some things that you would feel and see can just bring some dawning on you, like, and so for me it was a good one. Many people just folded. The first seeing men fold their hands and meditate.
I saw some men put your hand on their chest and the meditating. I saw another one who had his head on the table, and then the writing, because again, it's the kind of guided meditation I do. I give permission to open your eyes, because what people think meditation is and what it is,
yes,
because a mindful meditation, especially if you're actually meditating, there will be thoughts coming in.
Yes,
there'll be thoughts coming in.
Yes.
And if you stay in that moment and allow the thoughts to go in and out until you get to the one that, resonates so much with a part of your body, and you will feel it.
Yes.
And, I think the second meditation was having compassion for your
yourself.
emotions.
Yes, for emotions, yes.
And then it was at that point I saw people touch a part of their body where they were actually feel, I just stood and they're like, okay, we did that.
It was really interesting to watch.
And then the maths, when they were putting together the puzzles, after you are shouting, I wasn't helping him, by the way. He had finished the puzzle. He just needed to put the numbers somewhere. I wasn't helping him. But,
We're giving him assistance.
But having, seeing an elderly man and young men on that mat and trying to put the puzzles together.
It was the man that just gave up. There was a man that just said, I'm the last.
Yeah.
Because he was struggling.
Yeah.
And at that point, I would have. I think I asked somebody to come and assist him. But he didn't stay. He left. And I know that for a man, that can be very, very distressing. To come out. He came out himself. Nobody called. We just asked for volunteers, and he came out. And then he found out what he was supposed to do was something. And I did not think that he couldn't do it. I think he already told himself that this thing is too much for me to do.
It was the same person that you were accusing me of helping, and he had already finished it. So he just didn't know.
No, this man had left before you came. There was there was
that's
one
what I'm saying.
man.
I'm just saying that it's the same person you're saying that, but he had finished it. And then I think I love the boyish. And I say this with all sense of respect and responsibility. The boyish light that came into his eyes the moment he put it together. And I am of an opinion that for those who stay constantly evolving are those who are in touch with their inner child.
True.
If you allow that child to speak to you and go and play with that child, you will get perspective. Because as again, Abuja, great for me. There were some questions this community was asking me, and I found that the person who carries me the most and carried me the most during my dark moments was Tumishe between the ages of 1 and 5. Till now. And I didn't know until I had that conversation with, the God gang, we call them. And I know now that whenever I'm in a dark place and I speak with her, she kind of reminds me how I saw myself when I was younger. Because again, I didn't grow up in a home where there was positive reinforcement. So the positive reinforcement came from Tumishi and Tumishi alone. So or me playing, me singing, me dancing, me on a bike. I can't ride a bike, save my life now, but that, I have those pictures. I go to her and I sincerely do ask, okay, Tumishi, what should we do here? And I think she's going to say playfully, sarcastically, as the older Tumishi would do it, but I'll get the message. And I think that most of us, if we could just stay with the youngest, the curious us, will keep our curiosity like so. What are we looking forward to November 29, 2025? Yes, that's the date. November 29, 2025. What should we do differently?
More time for the men to speak. I'll advocate for that. More time for the men to speak. But honestly, it would be tough because there's nothing I would take away from what we had this very first. But to expand on the time, for men to have that crucial conversation. That would, for me, that would be it. Having the psychiatrist come in and speak was very instructive. Having the social worker, I don't want to call him because that wasn't what he came to do. What's his name?
Yeah, Paul.
Paul. Yeah, what Paul also spoke into vulnerability. Was very useful. It was very, very useful because even during the conversations we had, when the women were sent out, I just have to keep seeing that.
Makes you feel good, yeah.
Because the women just wanted to stay. There was an usher, and I started talking. And I'd asked her, and I started talking. I just saw she was looking at me with intent. She wanted to hear the end of the story. I said, "Madam, we are waiting for you." She was shy. She just started, it was, he even had questions to ask.
Oh, of course, we all have
with regards to, and I think one of the questions are questions are key, and we have to keep learning how to ask the right questions. One of the questions that was asked
and be
was,
open.
And be very open. Yes, very open, because that's
one of
vulnerability.
The questions that was asked. That's
one of the questions that was asked was, why would how do you deal with parents when they see you as their pension plan? Right. And
that was an elephant in the room, innit?
No, for me, I didn't even think about it until the psychiatrist tried to, when he was speaking into it. And I realized that, but that's not the real question.
So what was the real question?
The real question for me was him trying to find out why they wanted to reap where they didn't sow. Because that's the only reason you'll ask that kind of question. That's the only reason why you ask why your parents...
I doubt. And
hold on. You know why it was true? When I was saying, I was looking at his face and he started smiling. Because that's the real thing.
Yeah, for him, I'm not saying for him that might be.
It was when I asked the question.
But I just wanted to speak to it generally.
Right.
Okay. I'll speak to you generally. There are some people who genuinely, even though their parents were there for them, and the reason that speaking to where they did not reap, did not sow,
right.
Like they provided financially and all the earlies, but they were neglected socially and emotionally.
Same thing. It's still trying to reap where they sow. It's still reaping and sowing thing.
It's still a reaping and sowing thing, but I'm speaking to the fact that there are some people who were given but they were not. I understand what you're saying. Please.
So I think that those kind of people would rather provide the means for their parents in old age, but would not be present.
Again.
So it's still a sowing and reaping. If you don't sow your emotional presence when they're younger, don't expect them to be present when they are older.
Anyway,
do you understand?
It's just like I say to my son. He's going to have my head. This boy called me a day before a fight for life. A day
Right.
before. And he goes like, how's the program going? I said, oh yeah, a little overwhelmed, but I'm fine. Said, so I've listened to almost all your interviews before this thing, and you have been using me on our conversations for your, so I should say I'm an inspiration. Oh yeah, you can say you're an inspiration. And I said, okay, so don't you think you should monetize my not attending? I'm a male special. Like, please help me understand. Please help me understand this logic,
But you
because
should
I
pay
don't
for his
understand.
intellectual property.
And I'm like, no, but that's not fair. I'm spending money on this. He said, okay. The truth is, I just want money for bread. Oh my god! But yeah, and it's because of people like that that we do this.
Yes.
Because the next generation they're an upgrade of us. They're an upgrade of us, and we must do better. I'm going to try and post there, but I look at the videos and I'm like, guys, we did this, and I want to say huge thank you to 1202 events. Funshaw interpreted every single thing that we are.
Yeah.
Funshaw is the CEO and my friend. She's been on the podcast before.
She did.
And she are a huge thank you to Femi Adebimpe,
Right.
who was the major designer for the Fight for Life, the one we used for the, thank you to Jide too, who was doing the media runs for us. Adewale Poroku, Anita, who I didn't know was that tall. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And the hugest thanks goes to Olubumi Oladapo Kuku. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So I was going to say, when the people that came, they saw the ambience. The men loved it.
Yeah.
I was very particular about, we don't want it loud. Because it's not a women event. And you know the funny thing is, I men like dark colors. So while it was dark, it still wasn't
Dark.
gloomy.
Yes, it wasn't
gloomy.
gloomy.
Yeah, so there was still the you know the funny thing, the mat. The mat
on the
had
floor.
a way of he just brought a different vibe into that. It really was a good one.
It was
It was a good one. It
So
was
thank
really
you
a good
guys.
one.
Thank you, Mofe, for jumping on this and partnering with us. Thank you, Ola, for run. See, yeah, I gave Ola this. I was still thinking, like, Ola, I think I should. And before I finished that, 30 minutes later, he just said the whole thing. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful partner and co-host of Mindful Lee with Sumishe, the podcast. And as we wrap this up again, November 29, 2025, we will start promotion earlier this year and probably next year. I'm already there. And probably we'll see. But the truth is, we can't start too early, we can't start too late. And just follow us on Mindfully with Tumishe on all platforms, especially Instagram. Instagram is where you get most of Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast. Thank you very much. Of course, you can visit blackimages.com and hopefully we'll put all this. Hopefully, I say hopefully, because there's too much work in my head right now. I'm still half asleep, half awake, and we're recording this. And Mindful with Tumishe, like I said earlier, a fight for life. And I think it's just poignant and I don't know. It was very esoteric for me that the mindful events. I had thought that we're going to do mindful events. Okay, Mindful with Tumishe was going, but then last year happened. You know how last year started now? I was sick, hysterectomy, and all that. So I said to myself, you know what, it's not going to happen 2024 again. But it did happen. And I think it is very godly that it started with men. Because I have said it 1,000,001 times. If the man is whole, the woman and the children won't have to fight and cry a lot.
Yes.
Won't have to fight and cry. Yeah.
True.
So we hope to see you November 29, 2025. And what would I say to round this up? I don't know. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. love your country. Above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being. Watch out for next week's episode. I can't even begin to tell you. I love you. Thank you, Mufe. Thank you, Ola.